So somebody asked me a lovely question yesterday asking how I managed to find balance with having children and also finding time to work on my health and fitness. So at the start of my health and fitness journey in January 2023, I made lots of changes all at once. I implemented a lot of fitness regimes as well as a lot of changes to my diet, all whilst having a 3-month-old baby and 2 older boys. So for me, this was unsustainable. I managed to make these changes for a 6-week period and I saw some dramatic changes in my body and my health and how I felt in that time, but I was unable to maintain all those changes. So what I really learned from that process was make one change at a time basically. Make a change, implement that within your life, live with it, get used to it, adjust to it, and then make another change once you have adjusted to the previous one. So that you are constantly adapting, making changes, bringing in new healthy habits to your life, but you're not going like wholesale, full pelt. And I mean, it might work for some people to have a dramatic health overhaul, but if you have very young children like I do, if you're also working, you have a busy household, you also have other demands from family and friends and things that you want to do, then you're going to find that really, really hard. So the first thing I do now is I make changes and then I adapt and I bring in more changes. Last year my fitness was really up and down. I had periods where I really felt like I was working hard towards my fitness and then periods where working towards my fitness really fell by the wayside. This year I have been much more consistent working towards my fitness, bar a few weeks last year where we had back-to-back illness from my kiddos. And one thing I really find helps me to stay consistent with my fitness is having challenges to work towards. Now I do, generally speaking, just really like having challenges to work towards. So this year I signed up for a series of half marathons. Initially I just signed up for the one at the beginning of March, but once I managed to complete that and I felt really good about that, I managed to complete a half marathon run walking in 30-second intervals, just under 2 hours 45. And so I signed up then for another half marathon at the beginning of June and another half marathon in October. Those are the only races that I have signed up for this year. I haven't signed up for anything else. I haven't signed up for any shorter races, because generally I'm running shorter distances during the week anyway and I'm comfortable. I'm not really aiming for any amazing speed in a 5-10k. So for me, I really like the long distances. I've got the half marathons that I'm signed up for, and that means that once I finish one half marathon, I know I've got to carry on running so that I'm working towards the next one. Also at the start of this year, I set myself a skipping challenge, and I really enjoyed this. So I think I got to somewhere around 40, just over 40 days of skipping every single day. And in the past, I've also done walking challenges, such as walking every single day for 30 days. So you can set yourself any kind of challenge. Maybe it is walking a certain number of steps every single day. So it doesn't have to be 10,000 steps, because we often hear about 10,000 steps, but think about how many steps you do right now and think about maybe doubling that as a challenge for 30 days and documenting it, because that's something that I also find really helps me. I document my journey here and that really helps keep me accountable. Got kids, I would say get your kids involved in your health and fitness journey. My eldest, who is 5, really enjoys coming running with me. Now he goes on his scooter while I run and he is slower than me, so I just have to embrace that basically. When I go out with him, I know I'm going for a shorter distance and I know that my pace will be slower, but I'm still going out there, I'm doing something, and importantly, it's also showing my kids I'm prioritizing my health and fitness, how important it is to keep our bodies healthy and look after our bodies. And my kids really enjoy coming out with me. So my 3-year-old is still quite young, but he will come out with me on his balance bike or on his scooter. And again, I will just go for a much, much shorter distance and he feels like he's really involved. Also, when I did the half marathon in March, my husband brought the kids along and so that they could watch me. So they just joined for towards the end of the race. They went to the park, then they joined towards the end of the race. So they got to cheer me on, see me at the finish line, wear my medal, come for lunch with me. And they're really enjoying getting involved in my health and fitness journey. So sometimes I think we can feel selfish when we're prioritizing our health and fitness and we have a young family. You feel like you should be spending all of your time on your kids and no time on yourself. But actually, spending time on your health and fitness is role modeling a really, really healthy way of life for your kids. I think it's really, really important that they see that we are prioritizing our health and fitness, and that leads the way for them to do the same. So if you think about it as a teaching tool, you are modeling how you want your children to live their life, and that is really important. So is finding your community, whether that's in real life or virtually. I personally would find it quite hard to join a local running club, for example. I'd find it really hard to commit to any kind of schedule, showing up weekly at a set time, especially with having a young family and a demanding job. So I find my community online, places like YouTube, TikTok, and also Facebook groups. I've joined a Facebook group for really slow runners, which I definitely would consider myself, and also a Facebook group for women who walk, and I found that super helpful. It also really helps me seeing people like me running slowly, walking, because when I'm going out and about locally, I'm generally speaking seeing people who are running faster than me, and that can get a bit disheartening. So it's really important to widen your community and realise that you're not alone and you're amongst many other people at a very similar level to you. Next up is working out from home. At the start of this year, I seriously considered joining a gym, and I was having a real dilemma because I just didn't see how I could make going to a gym work around my life. The time it takes to get to the gym, and then you're working out, and then you're coming back. And also for me, sometimes I only have pockets of time of 20 minutes here and there where I might throw on a YouTube video and do a workout, or go for just a 2-mile run walk, rather than anything longer than that, because that's all of the time that I have. And I met a local woman who was 50 years old, and she looked amazing. She had the most amazing abs, she had a couple of teenage kids, so she'd had children, and she explained to me that she hadn't always looked like that, and I just assumed that she must be working out in a gym a lot. And she explained that she did all of her workouts from home, from her kitchen. She just had a yoga mat, a pair of dumbbells, and a kettlebell. And she said to me, all you need basically to start is a set of dumbbells, so as in 2 of them. You don't need all different weights, just need a set of dumbbells to start with and a yoga mat. So I already had a yoga mat, ordered some dumbbells. However, I think she recommended 5-pound weights and I got 5-kilogram weights, but that's what happens when you're a sleep deprived parent. So I have now ordered some 3-kilogram weights, which should hopefully arrive soon. I found working out initially was so hard, it took me a while to realise why, because they're just so heavy. She really inspired me, and I thought, you know what, no, I know that gym is not going to work for me. And actually, I've never enjoyed going to a gym before. I think gyms can be really helpful, and maybe they will be in my future, but right now it absolutely doesn't work with a young family, with a demanding job. I need to work out from home, so I'm running from home, and I am doing workouts in my home, I'm skipping in my living room, and I don't really have to go far at all to get some exercise in. So when it comes to actually fitting in running to my schedule, I basically aim to do 2 5Ks a week and 1 slightly longer run. And when I say slightly longer run, the idea of doing long runs every week is just not possible for me. So the 5Ks I'm generally doing in between work, so I'll either try and get out early before I start work, or if I've got a pocket of time in the day, then I will take the time. I mostly work from home, so I will take the time when I can, go out, get the run done, and then sometimes I am carrying on with my work and then getting a shower in later and fitting in like that and spending half my day in my sweaty gym kit, but that is what it is. And then on the weekend, my husband, who's very supportive of my health and fitness journey, will have the kids, he's very happy with the kids on his own and very much considers himself an equal parent. And so I will then try and get out for a slightly longer run. And sometimes I'm going out with my eldest for a bit, and then I drop him back, and then I'll go out and do another couple of laps on my own, so that I'm involving the kids and I'm also getting my longer run done. That said, for the half marathon I did in March, I didn't actually get to a distance beyond 10k, just slightly less than half of a half marathon. And lots of people think you need to run up to 10 miles at least in order to be able to run a half marathon, and that's simply not true. You just have to be realistic about what time you can achieve, and I certainly find that run walking really helps me. So at the moment I have been run walking in intervals of 30 seconds running, 30 seconds walking. I find my pace is just as good as it ever was when I was full on running, because I was then running much slower. I'm able to run quicker, have the recovery time, and keep the momentum up for longer. So when it comes to changes that I've recently implemented, and particularly I'm trying to dramatically reduce our consumption of ultra processed foods. Now, I do most of the household cooking at home. I really enjoy cooking, so that's a role that I have naturally assumed. So the changes I'm making impact not just me, but the whole family, because any meals I'm preparing, I'm making sure that they are low as possible to zero ultra-processed foods. So I was expecting maybe that I would see like a full-scale revolt from my kids and my husband, but that hasn't been the case. Basically, I read some advice that said, tackle some of the easiest areas where you have the most ultra-processed foods. So as that turned out, perhaps surprisingly, to be bread. I didn't realize how much like ultra-processed ingredients were in bread. So we changed things up there. I'm making bread where I can, or I'm buying bakery bread that has no ultra-processed ingredients. Snacks, so I am changing up, so we're having more fruit snacks and less ultra-processed snacks. We're still having some convenience food snacks, just ones that don't have ultra-processed ingredients, and also making more of my meals from scratch. I really enjoy cooking. I do mostly cook some meals during the week, but I wasn't cooking every meal. And now I am mostly cooking more. But what I'm doing is I'm cooking more simple dishes where I need to. So where we are busy, where we're in a rush, I've got a soup maker, just chuck a load of veggies in the soup maker and that kind of does it all for me. We're still having like jacket potatoes once a week because that's something that everyone likes, but also it's something really easy to do. We've just switched up, so instead of having jacket potatoes with beans that have ultra-processed ingredients, we're either having organic beans that don't have the ultra-processed ingredients, or just having cheese, or just having something else. Then we're having other simple dishes like pastas with homemade pasta sauces, and I batch cooked a load of pasta sauce on the weekend. And that's another thing I do a lot of generally anyway, is batch cooking. So if I'm making something, I always think, can I make double or triple of this and freeze the rest, so that during the week I'm not having to cook every single meal from scratch. There's always something I'm getting out of the freezer that I've already made. There's always some easy dishes there, and then there might be some things that take me longer to cook, and then typically I will make those on the weekend. So for example, this weekend I'm going to make a lasagna from scratch. That is not something that I could contemplate doing after work in the day, so that is something that I reserve for the weekend. So really, my motto here is progress over perfection. Do what you can and don't beat yourself up about what you can't. Don't aim to change everything at once. Just make the changes that you can over time, and gradually we'll get there. For me, it has been a real journey since January 2023. I have had periods where I have felt like I am really working towards my health and fitness goals, and I have had periods where I felt like I am not so much, but overall, my health and fitness has improved dramatically. Finally, and most importantly, I think we have to remind ourselves that we deserve health and happiness. It is important that we remember that in working towards our health and fitness goals, and in working towards improving how we feel, then we can be a better person to our family, our friends, and feeling good is a good thing for everyone. I really hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. If you did, please give me a like, it really does help me out. And consider subscribing for more content from me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!